Trapping plays a very important role in modern-day wildlife management. Professional wildlife biologists monitor fur-bearer populations to maintain a healthy and sustainable harvest of this important, renewable natural resource. Trapping provides recreation and income for licensed trappers across this country. Who's Your Trapper Outdoors is brought to you by Who's Your Trapper Supply. Ep.3 Outdoors, manufacturer of the Hag Bracket and Body Trap Spring Clip. Leatherwood Creek Trapping Scents. Who's Your Trapper Deer Scents. And Leatherwood Wildlife Art.
Thanks for joining us for this episode 3, season 10 of Who's Your Trapper Outdoors. Be back out on the Arkansas trap line on this episode. We've got several more episodes on Arkansas. We'll do our semi-live, which will be trapping currently here in Indiana, and then we will have some South Carolina footage, which was a new state that we were at this past season. I want to mention the 25th of September, the Fur Takers of America Chapter 7B rendezvous here at Who's Your Trapper Supply. It's a good fun day. We've got good demos, got good food, we have kids games, white elephant auction, the whole thing. So have tailgaters. So and of course our shop will be open. Just plan on attending. Weren't able to do it last year, and look forward to seeing everybody there. Want to mention the photo contest. We will be having that again this year for trappers and deer hunters. Here shortly, the information will be on the home page of the website, who'syourtrappersupply.com. That is actually, there's an email on there that is the only place that will accept the photo entries. So the photo contest actually starts October 1st, and the information will be on the home page here shortly. I want to thank everybody for the orders, stopping by the shop, both online or over the phone. If you're not tech savvy or don't like websites or whatever, just give us a call. Be glad to take your order over the phone. After all, that's what keeps all this going. So sure appreciate your support over the years. It's kept us going. So big thanks to everyone. Hope you enjoyed the episode. All right, check day 3. Just basically getting started. I think we've only checked maybe 3 stops or 4 stops. So this is kind of an observation. And when we first started coming here 10, 11 years ago, this road right here was really good. Caught coyotes on it, caught gray fox on it, I believe, but we definitely caught bobcat. So it was pretty consistent. We could count on it here. And I think what's changed, I mean, I know dynamics of where animals live and move and how they move around changes, but the thing that's I think has changed the most is they've run a road grader down this road and it lowered it. So we've got a lot of standing water, and if you basically, you can see standing water on this road as far as you can see. Now they must have had a pretty good rain with some snow before we got here, but this has been pretty standard for the past 3-4 years, and for the past 3-4 years it hasn't been as good. So I think generally speaking, I think all this water on here probably has forced a different travel route. This is kind of my speculation, but I mean, animals don't like necessarily walking through water any more than we do. So I think that's kind of what I've come up with as far as a possible reason that this road is, you know, not near as good as it used to be. So anyways, I just thought I'd share that. I am looking forward to the rest of the line. We got quite a few traps set out, like we said yesterday, so in a bunch of different locations. So I think we're at 53 locations or 53 stops, so kind of excited to see how the rest of the day plays out, and we'll keep you posted. All right, check day 3, finally connected with a gray. Been man,
slow.
It's been slow. We're probably 60% through the line. Just no visits to speak of, just an off night. But good to see this gray fox here. It's the second one of the trip, so it's a pretty one too. Nice pretty tail. So, top dog, finicky feline, I believe, just a little bit of long distance since bobcat urine. So,
Okay.
so here's the remake on that where we just caught the gray fox. It's kind of just in this little bit of a bank right here. Pretty inconspicuous dirt hole, basically. He worked on the hole a little bit, so got a good gray fox smell here for sure, which is definitely a good attractant for obviously other gray foxes, coyotes, and even bobcats would check that out. So got coveralls down, and then we're just putting light sifting the dirt on top of that, blend them in, hold them in place, and like I said, top dog, finicky, and a little bit of long distance, and it's bobcat urine. I did not re-lure or re-urine. This set was just made. This is the second day to check this trap, so it doesn't really need any additional attractant to it. So I'm gonna leave it the way it is. These things are my favorite. They're pretty.
Yep. Some we don't really have around home either.
No.
Well, one gray fox today.
It was a very consistent day. Consistently looking at empty traps.
Yep.
So clearly just one of those nights where stuff didn't move. I mean, we didn't have visits. We didn't have tentative visits. It was just basically
Pretty
dead.
quiet.
So,
Yep.
and that's 53 stops, 53 locations. So that's a lot of looking at empty traps. It's also the way you get critters. So we don't have, as we've said before, down here, it's enjoyable trapping, but there's not huge concentrations of any one type of critter really here. I mean, the coyotes are probably number one, and then there's gray foxes and a few bobcats. They're never hardly any raccoons.
Yeah.
Very few
Possums or
yeah.
skunks.
We've caught all of those, but over the years we've caught not very many. So it's just kind of. But it's only 2 o'clock, so we've got time to set until dark. We've got about 3.5 hours.
Yeah. And where we're going is in a whole new section, so it'd be a whole new group of animals. So we're spread out even more. So that's kind of the bright side of it.
Right.
Yeah. That's it. That's the update. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Hags Trapping Products by J3 Outdoors, the most versatile and efficient trapping devices on the market.
Leatherwood Trapping Sense. Success speaks for itself.
All right, we're out on the line. We're still pretty early in the day. We haven't checked too many. First catch of the day for check day 4 is a bandit coon up here. You know, it's kind of strange when we're out setting. I feel like if we'd set this many traps at home, we'd catch so many more coons and possums, which I know we would. But up here, the mountainous terrain, we don't connect as much on these coons. So back leg catch, he's definitely disturbed this whole place up. I can't exactly remember what lure we're using at this location, but I know I had Predator Gravy and Top Dog. So we're going to remake it. It's going to have a nice trash pile look to it on the remake. Plenty of smell and visual for the next animal that comes traveling along. So.
What, did you dig up some blanket or something?
Yeah, he got cold last night and he dug up a blanket, snuggled with it. We're going to take care of him and move on. Finishing up this remake. As you can see, we got plenty of eye appeal here. Made sure there was top dog still down in the hole. Put some grass over it, make them work for it. So plenty of smell, great visual on this little 2-track. Charlie's further on up, so the next set of animals that run through here, we should have them covered. So, all right, we're trying to beaver trap with coyote equipment. Whatever works. We're coming towards the bottom of this spot here where we come out of this back road onto the main road, and there's a good little waterway bridge that we always cross, and we've been noticing chew sticks floating downstream. So we went to investigate, and we found a little feed bed here. There's some twigs, some fresh cut. I mean, this trap is MB550 is definitely designed for coyote trapping, but that's all we got. So we're gonna shoot for a front foot catch. We got about 10 foot of drag on it. We're gonna pre-wrap it. Then, since we don't have any actual rebar stakes or anything like that with us, we're gonna use 2 stake drivers and cross them just in case. The drag alone is gonna be plenty probably just to hold them up, but this is just a little added insurance. So I'm just gonna nestle this close to the bank edge here, hoping for a front foot catch. We got some liquid castoreum with us that we've actually been using on predators, so that will work as well on the beavers, obviously. So we'll see. I'll try and guide it in. I'll put some funnel sticks. We'll show you the finished set as soon as I get it finished up here. So wish us luck. All right, we got this coyote traps nestled in here for a beaver. This is definitely not ideal, but we're going to show it anyway. We don't recommend doing it this way, but you know, we're working with the tools that we have. MB's just right on the edge of the water. There's some chew sticks here. The bottom is solid rock. I couldn't even, and of course we don't have boots on to get in here and do a mud pie really well. Did the best I could, bunched up some leaves, stuck a chew stick in there and just covered it with beaver castoreum. It's pretty permeating in smell. But to funnel the beaver in over the trap, we have a tuft of grass on one side and I threw a rock down on the other, kind of creating this pinch point. And we'll see what happens in the next few days. Jake just mentioned that he thought he heard something slap its tail down that way, so maybe they're already out and about, so we'll see what happens.
So this is check day 4. Justin caught the coon earlier, caught a coyote. This is the same trap that the coyote was caught in the other day. Trap itself was what I would call severely contaminated, and we got basically a clean set, but obviously it didn't make any difference in this instance right here. So I said, you know, if we had a dug at or flipped off or issues with it, we would swap it out with a clean trap, but sure didn't bother this guy right here. So like I said, same trap, second coyote, and top dog, just a little bit of long distance, and I believe finicky on this, finicky feline. So this is one of my favorite spots on the line here, just way up here on this big overlook. It's a pretty spot. It's a little hazy today, but
Good job.
all right, here's the remake on that set. Basically, I just put the trap back in, making sure it's pretty secure. Still using coveralls, dirt, dusting on top to hold the coveralls down, make the blend look good. That's pretty much it. I did squirt a little Bobcat urine on there just because the whole area smells like coyote. Just to throw another change up in there, essentially. So that's all I did. I didn't rebait. This little bait's still down there, so we're good. See if we can catch another one in the same trap.
There we go. What is this? Number 2 coyote of the day, plus the coon this morning. Still got plenty of traps to check. Check day 4. This set's only been here a couple days though. There are some droppings down by the road there. Charlie's set was dug up a little bit, and so we knew something was in the area. And look a little further down, this coyote was just waiting for us. So, not sure where the original set even was. No, it's over here. Dirt hole set over here in the bank. The drag got him wrapped up on all these pines. Top dog in the hole, of course, Bobcat urine. And I actually put some gland lure, coyote gland, with it. So I've been jumping around a lot this season. I've been using pretty much every, I was telling Charlie, I think I've used every lure that we even offer, just putting a huge mix out there. So it's kind of cool. We're going to take care of this guy and get a remake. We'll show you the final results of what the remake looks like. So good day. One thing you always kind of wonder about doing sets like this, I don't think about it a lot at home because we don't use a lot of drags at home. But here, so we catch a coyote, takes us over here and gets wrapped up. All the smell's over there now. The trap is contaminated. But my bed area, all this dirt in here, doesn't really have the coyote smell. So this is going to be easier to detect and dig up, or possibly get rolled on, things like that. But we still go ahead and give it our best shot and leave it that way. I wouldn't worry too much. I don't think it matters. Well, I'm sure it matters to a degree. Like, I wouldn't want to obviously do this all the time, but the coyote Charlie caught this morning, that was one he had already caught, and all the smell, same situation like this, he reset the trap and he actually caught the coyote. So there's an example of it working still in our advantage. This is all pretty muddy. Trying to smooth this out. It's hard to get these traps bedded nice and tight sometimes in all the rocky terrain that's down here. Top dog is still down in the hole, so that's a plus. We always pick grass wads and stuff. There's no law down here for no exposed bait, so throw that tuft of grass in there. I'm gonna put a fresh piece of wax paper for pan cover. You got anything to add to that, Charlie?
I'll clarify something. There is a law you are not allowed to have.
What'd I say?
He said there is no law that says no exposed bait. There is a law that says you cannot have exposed bait.
Well, that's what I meant to say. Read the book, don't listen to us. Call your game warden.
I will say that every state has different trapping regulations. So if you're going to a different state to trap, do the best you can to do as much homework as you can on the laws in that state. So, you know, there's traps that are legal in one state, not legal in another. There's certain things you can do. I mean, for Arkansas, they have very trapper-friendly laws. I mean, they've got a few that we don't have in Indiana, but in general, a very trapper-friendly state. Indiana, same with Indiana. And then there's states that have gained a lot of ground, Tennessee being one of them. They used to have lots of restrictions, and fortunately the Tennessee Trapper Association down there, John Daniels and those guys have made tremendous
Improvements.
improvements or inroads in getting those laws changed and making it a lot better for trappers. So those laws originally were not put in place because of the anti-trapper perspective. It was because of dog hunters, and fortunately a lot of that has changed on that perspective. Trappers have as much right to be out here as dog hunters do. We all got to try to, you know, be respectful and responsible of what each one of us does. But yeah, a lot of that in a lot of states was based on dog hunters, not somebody that had a problem with trapping. So
Yeah.
I mean, they did, but not the animal rights perspective. So So fortunately, a lot of that is starting to ease up from what it once was. So.
Yep. Remake's done. I'm not going to do anything to it. Like I said, the hole was there. Top dog was in it. That was the main thing. Of course, the urine and lure I put down originally is still there too. So kind of put some blend, a little bit of pine needles on top there, and call it good.
One thing too that we've just noticed over the years are, this is like a logging road or little whatever it once was. We have found that the ones, and this makes sense, it's pretty obvious, but it makes sense. The ones that have lots of cover like this are generally better than the ones that are just open deep woods. The ones that are open deep woods, there's no prey animals that can live in that per se, other than maybe a squirrel. But this right here's got, you know, birds and everything that goes along with that because of the cover. So it makes a perfect place for animals to hunt for food. So these are far better locations than just the deep woods openings. So I'm not saying the other ones won't produce, but these are more likely to produce and more likely to produce on a regular basis. So.
Trapping has been a lifelong passion of mine. Back in 1976, I started Hoosier Trapper Supply, and we've had the privilege of serving trappers across this great country for all these years. We carry a complete line of traps and trapping equipment. You can check us out at HoosierTrapperSupply.com.
Lip Licker Deer Lure. Success speaks for itself.
We got a tree hugger. Bobcat hugging the tree there, waiting on us. Set was right here. We've set this lane a few times in the past. I can't recall how many years, and usually Jake's able to set as well, and we kind of cover it pretty good because it looks good. It's kind of brushy over here. Trail goes on further back. Got the main road over here, and it kind of looks catty, you know. And we just never really connect at this location. We said, okay, well, let's do it one more year, see what happens. And bam, we get a cat here today. So now we like the location. Dirt hole, top dog, bobcat urine, some finicky feline for the lure. And as you can tell, the drag did its job. We are pretty close to the road, so this is nice for the cat to get up here in the brush a little bit and kind of hide. So perfect example of what it's supposed to be doing for us. We'll take care of the cat, dispatch it, get a remake made, and get on down the road. We still got a few more traps to check, so it's a good day so far. Try to blend this in a little bit better. Cover my chain up a little bit. That's good. Top dog's still in the hole. Set wasn't really disturbed. Ready to rock and roll.
All right, pretty standard Arkansas bobcat. What they're looking for on cats generally is how wide the white is. As you can see, this is a pretty thin strip right here, and if you look at it, how clear or how sharp the spots are on them. So that's kind of what distinguishes the quality on a cat. So, and then this is kind of a rabbit back or whatever. It doesn't have a whole lot going on in the back in terms of spots. But the belly is the main thing that determines the value, assuming they don't, you know, the backs of them don't have much on them. So with his belly not being particularly wide in this kind of market, that, you know, it's not going to be worth a whole lot being this far south. I think it was 2013 was over the top good, but 2011, 2012, the cats down here were averaging about 128 one year is what we averaged on them. And since then, we're just basically having them tanned and selling them tanned, because they're just, this type of cat's just not, you know, worth that much. It's pretty commercial type. Now the New Mexico better cats, you know, that's a $400 or $500 cat without getting to the extra fancy ones. So, and not all of them are worth that much there either, but their bellies are normally wider with the white, and the spots might have a little more clarity. But the thing the New Mexico cats really have is heavy fur, because they're much higher elevation.
What was the elevation here, Jake? 1,200.
1,100,
Yeah.
1,200.
Yeah,
And out there, we got as high as
we were at 9,000.
12,000.
Well, 9,000. Yeah.
9,000.
So, but even just the high desert's 5,000, 6,000. So, but yeah, I mean, for here, this is a nice big cat. These toms are out traveling. You know, it's their breeding season, looking for females, and it's funny. We were just talking when with the cats. We've got 2 or 3 places on this 200,000 acres that we've caught more than one cat at a location, but generally when we're here it's a lot more random than that. So this location here we've never made a catch on. This is one of those where we went ahead and set it, but we thought we got to drive right by. It looks like it should catch stuff.
Yeah.
And
We were kind of saying it's going to be our last effort at this location.
but we went ahead and set it. It's got everything going for it. It's got the thicket, you know, the wildlife road, the whole thing. And here we picked up this big tom. So the cats, you know, they always say set on sign for cats. In this kind of country with this much rock and we rarely see bobcat sign.
Yeah,
Rarely.
very, very little.
You know, it's
Except for we were driving the other day and actually had one run across the front of the truck out in front of us running down the road.
we've never seen a live cat here in the wild.
Yeah,
Did
or
that-
anywhere.
that
Outside
wasn't-
of a trap, I've
Yeah.
never seen one in the wild.
So that was awesome, actually. So
We did set on sign there. Charlie jumped out and set a trap.
and he was probably just cruising down the road. And he'd
Yeah.
probably never be back. But
You never know.
it was a big cat. So I'm assuming he was a big tom, just out, you know, cruising. So, but yeah, we just never see sign for these things here. So
Awesome. It's
Yeah.
a good day so far. We got a few more traps to run and can't complain. Beautiful weather, good times.
yep. All right. Question and answer. Be sure to get those questions in. If you've got something that you need to know or would like to know, obviously other people need to know the same thing or want to know the same thing and may have not even asked. So be sure to get those questions in. I've got 2 that I'm going to address, and then one, and they're both related. So the first question is, what do we consider a contaminated trap? Because someone said, well, we noticed that you set a trap that had made a catch. All right, so our definition of a contaminated trap is a trap that has caught an animal that the day that you pull it, we're not going to move it to a clean location, a location that hasn't caught. So when you make a catch, obviously the trap's going to smell like that animal, and typically the set location is going to smell like that animal as well. So everything's basically the same. I will say, with the exception of a drag, the animal does not spend that much time at the set location, and we do reset that trap back. Typically, we'll have other sets in the location that would not that would be a clean trap and a clean set. We have not run into an issue with that, but generally that's what we do. The only time that we'll replace a trap at an existing location is if it gets so muddy and so clogged with mud or whatever that it can't function. We will pull that trap. Probably in that situation, we're going to have to move over and make the set elsewhere too, because probably the set location's lost, completely destroyed, lost all of its integrity because it's just a soupy, muddy mess. So, contaminated trap is a trap that has made a catch. When we pull the trap, instead of moving it to a different location, we're going to retreat that trap. So the follow-up question by someone else was, how do you remove old wax and dye from the trap? So briefly, when we have new traps, we get the oil off of them, dishwasher, whatever, get the oil off the trap and wax the trap and go. We don't worry about dyeing the trap. If we've got traps that we've used and they've got wax and dye on them, or traps that have caught animals, all the traps we're going to treat, we will mix up logwood dye, which has some tannic acids in it, and boil the traps in that, and that cleans that trap up at the same time that it melts that wax off. That old wax will actually float to the top of that water. So you can do a couple things. One, you can skim that wax off, or if you get a good rolling boil, depending on how much wax is there, where that heavy boil is, there won't be any wax. It pushes it to the side, so you can pull your traps up through that. Just be careful, you don't want to reapply that wax to those traps when you pull them out of the water. That's the whole thing. So the safest is to skim it off, and then your trap at that point is good and cleaned up. If you've got traps with caked mud, that kind of thing, we power wash them, or a good spray nozzle on a hose, and a lot of times we'll clean that trap up before you actually put it in the dye. So that dye at that point, to me, it's going to darken your trap. It's going to turn it that dark black color. To me, that's less important than actually just cleaning that trap up and getting rid of those foreign smells that are on the trap. So, and then at that point, we're going to wax and we're going to go. So, to me, the best method to get that off of there is just boiling it off. The wax will float to the top, skim that off, and then you proceed to wax. So, you don't want to, on traps, we will actually take traps that have, if they don't catch and they're still in decent shape, we don't treat them. We'll just use them the following season. Basically, what traps we're treating are ones that have either picked up some rust in the field, but typically more than that, of ones that are just made a catch, whether it be a possum, a coyote, or a bobcat, or whatever. So those we clean up. Typically, the animal works on them, and they're picking up rust or whatever anyway. So I hope that helps and helps clarify that. Seems to always be a lot of discussion about treatment of traps, how to do it, what to do, and there are a number of methods out there. We are still old school. We're still using logwood dye, boiling the logwood dye, and melt down trap wax. Both work very, very well. And I am clearly I'm one that if there's something that I feel is more efficient or quicker, I'm gonna move to that. But I really don't think there are in this respect. So there's other methods, and people have good luck with those too. But this is what we do. So I hope that helps.
Alright, hope everyone enjoyed the show. Real quick, gotta mention we have the new catalogs coming out very soon. They're at the printer. About a month or so we should have those out, so these are junk at this point. So be on the lookout for that. You can follow the phone number or the website address below and order one or sign up for our email newsletter and get it that way. HoosierTrapperSupply.com. Also, want to mention, follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, of course. And I have a Facebook group called The Catch Circle. That's welcome to all trappers. Anything trapping related is welcome. So follow us on there and share your pictures. And we'll see you next time.
Join us on September 17th for the next episode of Who's Your Trapper Outdoors.